And what I decided to do was to have you all get a little bit involved with me here. So what I want you to do is stop what you're doing, put both feet on the floor, put both hands in your lap, sit up straight, and don't move. Okay, that's what we ask kids to do every day, right? We ask them to sit and stare at us. Well, my thing, Seated for Success, we've got kids in our classroom now who are ADHD, who are autism spectrum disorder, who have several different disabilities, and then we have normal kids who are just kids. They're 5-year-olds. And some of my kids were 4-year-olds. Thank God that's going to change this year. But they can't sit still for those long periods of time. So what I decided to do was to get some different alternative seating. One of the things is a bouncy ball seat. The next one is a wobble seat. The bouncy ball again, sorry. The wobble chair. Another wobble chair. And this is a T stool, which is a stability stool, which is very hard for everyone to sit on. And then there's the wobble chair again. Seated for Success. How comfortable are you right now? You're not very comfortable. You can relax. I'm not going to ask you to sit that way because guess what? I don't sit that way. When I'm in a classroom, I'm up, I'm walking around. When I'm sitting in my own chair, I'm moving around. My legs underneath my body. I move. Kids move. Kindergartners move. This is how it used to be. Right? How many of you have classrooms like this? Your kids are sitting there. Their legs are up. You hear a chair, a big metal thump. Then you hear, ah! And that's the kids. They've fallen out. Well, just because we get these alternative seatings doesn't mean that doesn't happen. It happens in a classroom either way. But when it happens this time, if they're on the bouncy ball chair and they're bouncing and they flip out, they're not crying. They're laughing hysterically because they know they weren't supposed to be doing that. First one is the real simple one. This is a band that goes across the leg of a chair or the leg of a table. See the chair and the table. This is called the kids call this the foot bouncy bands. And what they do is they allow their foot to go up and down, up and down, up and down, so that their body is moving constantly so that they can focus. There's a little girl sitting in it. See how good she's working? It's the wobble seat. You sit in the wobble seat. It's a little purple seat. I chose purple. And you sit on it and your body moves the whole time. You don't feel it moving, but it strengthens your core too. This is hysterical. All right, let's see how to get this video to play. Okay. How do you play the video? Does anybody know? There it is. All right, let's see if we can hear.
My name is Dylan. I like the wobble chair because you can sit on it and it won't get back on you. And the squishy parts, you can put your feet on them and you can move your legs up and down on them.
See, what she means is it doesn't flip back on you, is that the other chairs, if you don't sit the right way on them and you're not doing too much, they flip back on you. This one's her favorite. The wobble chair. And that's what the wobble chairs look like. And what I did was I set each table with different chairs so that if you're at this table, you get to use these chairs. If you're at this table, you get to use these chairs. That's how I started out. By the end of it, it's which chair are you more comfortable with? Which one can you work with? And you see how they look. This little girl. You can see. I can't see, but where's it at? Okay. It's not showing. There we go.
What are we doing? What are you doing?
Someone videoed this while I was out of a sub for me. You see how she was moving back and forth? That's what I wanted you to see, was that wobbling back and forth. She has that freedom to move. Okay. There we go. Now.
Really, I like the spinning truck because I can spin and do my workout getting in trouble.
Now what he said was, I like the spinny chair because I can do my work without getting in trouble. Because he likes to get up and move around. And this way he just spins as he works. That's the stability chair. Now I only have about 6 kids now who can sit on this. At the beginning, I only had 1 kid. And believe it or not, it was my kid with visually impaired that could sit on it the best. And he showed everybody else. I wanted to show you from the kids' point of view. That's why I have the videos. This kid's name is Cooper. We call him Super Duper Cooper. Go.
My name is Cooper, and this chair is a balancing chair. I like this chair because I can balance on it, and I can concentrate more on it. But when I first sat on it, I fell on it, and it was hard until Brody showed me.
The challenge of this chair was everybody wanted to figure out how to sit on it. Nobody could. The little boy you saw that was spinning around and around, his feet still don't hit the ground to sit on this one. He just now gets to sit on the other ones because his feet wouldn't touch the ground. He's about this big. But the challenge was to get to sit on this chair, and they had to get their core strengthened in order to get to sit on it, because they couldn't sit on it because they didn't have the strength in the core of their body to do it. These are my favorite. These are their favorite chairs. He's just now big enough to sit on that one too, so I wanted to show you that one too. And it bends over, and it's got the little udder. It's got a little udder thing on it, and you will see the kids turn that over, and they'll have their hand flipping like this on one of those as they're working. So, all right. Now this kid does not use this chair. Watch.
I'm Branson. This is my favorite chair, but I never get to use it because I always get in trouble because I always bounce on it.
He said, I moved him to the table where those chairs were. He said, you're making a mistake. I said, why? He said, I can't handle that. It gets too much for me. I said, is it overstimulated? He said, what does that mean? I said, well, do you get yourself in trouble? Yeah, if overstimulate's in trouble, I'm in trouble. Don't put me on it. So we switched out. So after that, I started putting them on whatever chair they chose. They had a table. They got to choose. Some of them don't get to sit in those chairs at all. It's a T-square. T-square sitting. And that's what that little boy talked to you about. There's some other uses. This is the. I just saw this kid sitting there like this when we were having our free laptop time or iPad time, and when he was sitting there, he's sitting, if you can tell, on a bouncy ball, and then he used the little cushion. He said it moves my iPad back and forth when I push it. It's cool. So he was using it 2 ways. Now, it's not for everybody. Not every child can sit in these chairs. Some of them have to have their own alternative chairs, and they have to have the old-fashioned way. Those 2 were 2 of them. But you see the different types of chairs. You got the bouncy ball. You got I know I'm out of time. And all this stuff. Bouncy ball. You got the wobble chairs. You got the T-squares. What would your choice be? Which one would you choose? I've noticed a big difference in the academic progress of my kids since they get to choose how they sit. They're more concentrated, they're more focused. And if they're not focused, they lose their chair. The choice is important with kids. We get to choose as adults. Why shouldn't children? My students are more focused than they used to be. They pay attention to me. They know that when we're up here, if I'm teaching, they're not bouncing up and down. Because I told them, I said, you have problems staying focused? If I see you bouncing or twirling or spinning, I can't focus. So they know to stay still at those times. He says, no chair required.